Welcome back to Special Report. Everyone knows the next medical crisis is just around the corner, whether it comes in the form of a pandemic or something much more mundane like a tick bite. You and your family need to be prepared. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know the Wellness Company. We have their great doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough on all of the time. The Wellness Company and their doctors are medical professionals that you can actually trust. And their line of prescription medical kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy.
Whether it's the medical emergency kit, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, or the travel kit, these prescription kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications. From anthrax to tick bites, from COVID to the bird flu, from a trip to the beach to a trip overseas, the Wellness Company has a prescription kit designed to keep you and your family safe. Rest assured knowing that you have emergency antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics on hand to keep you and your family safe from whatever the globalists throw at us next. Just go to twc.health/voice today and order. That's twc.health/voice and use the promo code VOICE to save 10%. Welcome back into Special Report. DEI, the acronym for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, has been a strategy the left has used to try and force their ideology upon corporate America, government, and campuses.
Oh, goodness, they certainly do. We saw corporations like Coca-Cola essentially shaming employees in order to remove their, quote, whiteness as one example of DEI failure. Our next guest says that DEI efforts at the University of Michigan have also been a tremendous disaster. Imagine that.
I know. Well, Neetu Arnold is a Paulson policy analyst at the Manhattan Institute and joins us now. Welcome, Neetu.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Neetu, you wrote an op-ed in USA Today renaming DEI divisive, extreme, and intolerant. I love that. Tell us how the University of Michigan wasted $250 million in a massive DEI failure.
Well, yes, thank you so much. And yes, I did have fun coming up with that acronym as well, because I think that's what DEI programs have exactly become. They've become divisive, they've become intolerant, they've become extreme. And you know, I think this was entirely predictable. The University of Michigan had spent $250 million on DEI programs since 2016. And in trying to promote diversity and inclusion, they actually got the opposite. Students were less likely to talk with people who and associate with people who were different politically, by religion, even by race. And so it actually backfired.
Neetu, you make the argument that DEI is based on values, not on facts, and you reference a study from McKinsey & Co. that originally claimed causation between diversity and profitability. Explain what happened when they did a second study.
Yes, I think the big problem with the adoption of DEI programs was that a lot of universities and corporations simply adopted these programs because there's a lot of moral fervor around it, especially in 2020 with George Floyd and the riots. And you really could not dissent. And so, you know, going back to even 2015, that's when McKinsey & Company was publishing studies which showed that if corporate leadership was more diverse, then that would lead to more profitability. And this study was so influential in both the U.S. military and financial sectors. But this year, an economics journal actually redid this study. They tried to replicate it. They found that first they couldn't replicate it. It wasn't easy to do that. And then they also found that McKinsey couldn't they never established causality between profitability and diversity of corporations. And I think this is important because, again, diversity, equity, inclusion was simply adopted. And we should really know, before we adopt any kind of program, we should really know if it's going to work.
Neetu, would you say that for the most part, that DEI became an industry, a true industry, fueled by a unique moment in time that became focused on profit and opportunism and not about true equality?
I think if DEI was really about equality, it would have focused more on individuals rather than identity. And really, DEI just became this movement, an activist movement, and it really wasn't based on facts.
Well, Neetu, you yourself, I believe you had mentioned, you're a minority, correct? How do you think that, so how do you think the DEI has affected you? What's your take on it?
So I mean, it affected me because I think people became so sensitive and afraid to actually talk to me and treat me as an authentic person. I mean, I grew up in a small town. It was predominantly white. I was one of the few Indian Americans there, and I often used my culture to talk to people and to introduce them to who I was. And for example, I would share my food with people because I felt like my food was really good, and
Yeah.
so many people were missing out. And I, that was in the early 2000s. Nowadays, I find that people are sort of, they tiptoe around the issue and they're afraid to offend me. And I just wish that they would come out and just talk to me. So, I think what DEI really did was it created a culture of fear where if you say the wrong thing, you're reported to a bias office. And if you think the wrong things, you're shamed. I think that makes it really hard to communicate with different people.
So
Yeah,
Neetu, if
I'm just thinking back when I was young. I mean, we didn't think of that. I don't know about you, but it was just, we're all kids, we're all playing. I'm assuming we're similar in age. That's a good point. I just want to say, I'm so glad you said that because it has had the opposite effect.
No, exactly. And I mean, I really liked growing up in the 2000s here. And I think rather than focusing on our skin color or our differences, yes, we have differences and yes, we may disagree, but I think we need to learn to first talk to one another, make sure that we have healthier ways of communicating with each other. I think something that my generation really struggles with is we don't really know what that looks like.
Yeah.
And I think it's so easy to paint a broad brush and to stereotype other people just based on where they're from and what they look like, rather than just stepping outside of our boxes and just asking people, what do they really think about the issues?
So Neetu, if DEI really just was a strategy that created more racial tension and more language policing, what is the solution? Because I think you offered this in your USA op-ed. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about what type of diversity really should be championed.
I mean, it should be diversity of thought. I think that's where we really get to see what people think and what their beliefs are. And I think something we could also have is just having healthier environments to communicate. I've learned a great deal through marriage on how to deal with differences. And I think something we need to, well, I think something we need moving forward is just establishing boundaries and clearly communicating what is the purpose of the conversation. When we're in an academic setting, it should be expected that so many ideas will be presented. And we may hear ideas that offend us or we don't like it, but it's not personal. And it's another thing where when you're with friends, if you're just ranting or you want somebody to listen to your side, it's okay to lay that expectation out, but it's also okay for other people to say, maybe I'm not the best person to listen to this, or I feel very much ready to offer counterpoints, but you should talk to this person. And so I think it's really about laying out boundaries and the expectations.
Well, Neetu, thank you so much for being with us today, and phenomenal piece, by the way. Thank you for bringing awareness to this issue, because I know a lot of people, especially in younger generations, are afraid to speak out on it, especially because of cancel culture, which we're slowly getting rid of.
Thank God.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Neetu. Well, the October 15th deadline has passed. Are you prepared for what's coming? Do you owe back taxes, or are your tax returns still unfiled? Have you missed the deadline to file for an extension? Now that October 15th is behind us, the IRS may be ramping up enforcement. You could face wage garnishments, frozen bank accounts, or even property seizures if you haven't taken action yet.
But there's still hope. Tax Network USA has helped taxpayers save over $1 billion in tax debt and has filed over 10,000 tax returns. They specialize in helping people like you reduce their tax burdens, and they can help you too. Don't wait any longer. Visit tnusa.com or call 1-800-905-8000 for a free consultation. Their experts will walk you through a few simple questions to see how much you can save. Take control today. Visit tnusa.com or call 1-800-905-8000 right there on the bottom of your screen.
There it is, Tax Network USA. Well, coming up, Joe Biden is not doing his former running mate any favors on the campaign trail. Can someone say Freudian slip? We have the viral video making the rounds right after this. Stay tuned.